Hello, this is an overview of a Cloud Init script, how to basically build it up from scratch. As you can see, I've got a Cloud Init script there which is called cloud.config.yaml. Obviously, to get that to initiate, you need to build a server. So I'll put a link below to this Git page. So I'm using Terraform on this particular case. So you see my Terraform script there. Basically builds a Terraform server on OpenStack. See my previous video about OpenStack and how to get this working. Once it's built it runs a couple of scripts, and one of them is the Cloud Init script, which is this here. It runs a couple of other scripts as well. One thing you do have to note that when it puts this file on the Cloud Init script on the system, because everything runs from your local directory, it'll pick them up and copy them onto the system once it's created it. It puts them out alphabetical order, so you'll notice that the file name is going to actually put this one on. This is just a normal script, script.2, and that's script.1, so we'll run that one first and then that one second. The cloud config.yaml, which is the Cloud Init script, that always gets renamed as run.sh, especially when using Terraform. I'm not too certain about other programs like Packer and other things, but on this one it'll rename it as run. So when it gets put into the this directory on your local right, on your local server it's building, it'll run in alphabetical order, and if you've got a script starting before R, it'll run before the Cloud Init script, which you don't really want. So everything's got to basically run, if you call everything S, it's like script 1, script 2, script 3, it'll run after the Cloud Init script. So here's the main Cloud Init script which I'm running. Just a quick one, the other scripts, like for instance it runs, that's just a little script there, and that'll just put some information that it's run in the I think it's var log cloud init.log or something. It's one of the Cloud Init scripts, and it just knows that you just so you know that it's actually kicked off a script, and and you're happy it's working. It's more for testing than anything else. So this is the main Cloud Init config. As you can see, looks quite complicated. I'll go through this because it's doing a couple of things. It's actually one I was using for work. I'll tell you what it does as we progress. So firstly, it sets up the proxies. When your clean server boots up, will have no proxies. Most people, if they're doing this for work, will have proxies in the work and they'll need to set up. You might get away with not actually having to use that one, but I've just put it in just to be safe. Next thing, obviously, you need your DNS, so if it is downloading packages, it's going to be able to find a packet, the IP address, do an NS lookup and work out where it's got to go to get them. Next thing, because this is Ubuntu apt, basically because it's booted up, even though I put the proxies in, it won't read them proxies yet. So the proxies, even though they're there, they don't seem to load because it's the first boot. It'd have to reboot again to pick them up, like the ones below I'll show you. So here you're telling it apt has got these proxies, and then apt obviously is application for the packages. So now when you install the packages, I'm just installing arclow expect and python-expect, just as I need for part of the script. When you install them, it will use these proxies. Without the proxies, it'll probably just hang and not get anywhere and just say can't find repo. The next, it's more or less like a shell script. The rest of it, the way I've done it, I've just thought run cmd : and you've basically just put a dash in on what you're going to run. Here we're putting all the proxies again. Lots of trouble with proxies. So here I'm putting all the proxies in etc profile. I'm also putting an environment. Don't need them in both. Probably etc environment will be enough. The difference between it, profile runs it in your shell script when you log on. Environment is for if you're running a service, so the service can actually have proxies. So a bit different, but normally if you put environment, it covers you for everything. But I've just put it in both. Here wget, because we're using wget, and obviously if you wget and you're trying to get outside to something like google.com or whatever you need, it's not going to have a proxy. So here we're basically putting a proxy in for wget. So when that's all done, and then we can actually use wget and it's going to go outside. Here we're going to minio, downloading minio, which is an S3 bucket. So we're downloading that, and then we're going to install it, sleep a little bit, let it settle down, and then we're going to install the MC package. So we're getting that package MC, that's for querying minio from the command line. So we're just downloading that, and then just copied it to the directory. There we go, wget. On this one we're getting minio needs certifications put in certain directories. It's a bit of a pain, so yeah, we're getting a certification there and installing it as basically CertGen. Here we're configuring minio, putting the passwords in. Like I say, it's all straight commands. You just echo into files. Another one here, basically minio again. I'm setting that up, giving it a console port address, all bits and bobs like that, and then adding users to minio and adding the certs, private key, letting it sleep a little bit again. So all the certs and basically restarting it, and there we go. Minio will be working. This little bit here, I'm using expect. So as you can see for up here, I've basically downloaded expect. This is really useful, this, because this command here, the way I've set this up, lets you run little scripts. So you could even have like a /bin Python, like run a Python script, and basically you put your commands you want to run, end of, and it'll basically just run that little script. It saves you basically running other scripts in different files. Depends how neat you want it to be or how messy you want it to be, but this is basically just running a command, and it basically needs to confirm, so it needs a yes sent to it. So that's just basically it's expecting that output, and if it gets the output, it's going to send a yes, and the /r is a character return, so it's yes character return, and that ends, and that basically just lets you not interact with it, lets it build it. Really useful command, that is expect. Then we just setting some buckets up for the S3 bucket in minio, and then we set an LDAP up in minio. So so we've got access to our user LDAP, and then we go to get some more wgets there. We're installing this one. We're installing ddboost, which is a backup software, and it basically just does the same. It's just command lines. Another little script there which sets up ddboost. It's just easier doing that sometimes than doing single lines or doing a script. And then I'm actually inserting a couple lines in the cron tab. So cron tab will basically copy some files across. This actually was for a Rancher server. We're actually backing up Kubernetes clusters using Rancher. We're actually backing up the clusters using S3 bucket, and then once it's backed up onto this server on S3 bucket, we're copying it over to ddboost, and this basically just copies it over, and that's about it really. This bit here basically we're using rclone, because rclone's quite good and recognises S3 buckets. So what we're doing here, we basically, this rclone bit is setting up rclone, and you're using rclone within the cron to actually copy it from the S3 bucket into the directory of ddboost, which we set up here, and then after so many days it deletes it. Anyway, that's a quick example, and feel free to copy my source file. There's another little Python script there that's called from in the main.tf. That's another expect script, but it's done in Python in a separate file, and you could insert that into the main script. By the way, I showed you before, but yeah, that's about that. Thank you. Bye.